Thank you, analyst panel. We're back into the game immediately because it has, as usual, already started. So please take us into the final game of the day. And the fifth game in this group.
Tooth and Claw already on the BBG.
Strange
That's what you
Bedfellows.
like to see. Everyone's competing for Tooth and Claw early. Bedfellows very powerful. Embarrassment. And even elusive targets, which is
4HE.
One of the weaker ones.
Assassins. It's happening.
It's one of the weaker ones, but it actually scales well at 1 star. It actually is functional at 1 star. We see BBG, the dream start already. The 3 Savages with the Tooth and Claw 1 star. If we can see a 2-star in one of these heroes, we're good to go for this entire early game.
How early can you get a Lycan? Round?
Like round 4.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, if you high roll it, we see the level 2 Enchantress already on Rat 12. Just the casual round 2 level 3 Enchantress. It's what you like to see. Even have a chainmail on it as well. If we get to completing Cycle of Tooth and Claw, we're very good here.
You really want to see the Druid here now. Nature's Prophet could come in at any moment. 2 Chinese for Joseph as well. Loves his warriors. 2 Tusks for Zabayaka, and the Bedfellows has not found anti-mage yet.
Second Bedfellows, there it is. People are starting to really respect Demon Hunters. They've been performing outstandingly today. Probably the highest win rate to play rate ratio alliance out of all of them today. Soul Sucking Siphon 2-star picked up by 4He.
BBG continues his Savage only team. Well, Bounty Hunter ruined it.
Still check out this opener. Check the bodies 2-star. It's a little awkward for Rat, not what you necessarily want to see with these heroes, but still check the bodies 2-star. Scrappy are still one of the top builds right now, and you can curve into them in the mid game if you get a little bit lucky.
And Joseph has 2 pairs for warriors, so almost completing that. 2 Tusks and 2 Tinies.
Early game Underlords is always a bit of a stroll, bit of a breath of fresh air after all the excitement. It's kind of the calm before the storm, so to speak.
Tranquil Boot's not the best item to pick up for Joseph, but again, he isn't much of a high roller, so.
You see what I see, Panda. Zabayaka doubling down.
Oof.
Embarrassment into double Bedfellows. That is quite the start in this meta right now.
But he has to find the anti-mage now and terribly, but he can definitely do it. Even if he transitions in the mid game to demons.
It's also important to not be contested. Part of the reason demons have performed so well today is you only go it if you have Bedfellows often, which means you often aren't blocked with someone else, right? Which in this case, you might get blocked by Mino Hacks or picking up the second Queen of Pain, the Queen of Pain upgrade with the Anti-Mage and 1 Bedfellows. We might see 2 people going demons this game, which is rare. Let's see if Mino Haxer can... Yeah, okay, never mind. This is an easy one.
That's Fumichi #1 on the leaderboard, so we're going to see how he performs, how he finishes the day as well, the game 5. In this 10-game group.
It's a pretty close one. Against 4He, though, and 4He having the level 2 Bounty Hunter. Pretty good start. Elusive and Soul Sucking Siphon is pretty good. You can go for some kind of Druid, Beastie type thing if you want to curve into that.
BBG, lots of Savages, but ends up losing to Mino Haxor.
Early Smuggler as well. We see a lot of people prioritizing Embarrassment and Smuggler right now.
Yeah, just investment to the later. Maybe not late game, but the later game.
2 Smugglers before human rounds is a very, very good opener. Okay.
There's a Druid, the very early Treant with 2-star Enchantress is massive. Lycan found as well. That's going to be a very, very strong start with Treant at level 2 early on. Going to out-heal most of the DPS coming from the rest of the opponents. And Lycan also going to do well.
And we can look at these top boards here. 4He still managing to dominate so far with this board.
No Brawny buff there. Would have been great with 2 Beastmasters and the axe already on the board.
Yeah. 2 Beastmasters has a really cute interaction where their wild axes buff each other. The damage from each other, including the damage from the second wild axes. So it's really great to pair them together, similar to Batrider. It can carry you pretty far in the early game. It's also a very high DPS unit.
Some great early game pairs as well with Batrider and Venomancer at 2 of each. 2 pairs on the bench. The close one here, but I think Tiny will be going down.
And we can see Fibonacci on the back foot and Yosef. Still no 2 stars.
What a surprise.
Pepe hands Yosef. Yeah, we see some pretty weak boards here. Fibonacci, Yosef, and Zabayaka. None of them have 2-starred a single hero yet, which is pretty bad. All 3 of them are going to be struggling to catch up. 4He getting another 2-star on the Venomancer, and Fibonacci finding his 2-star.
Venom does go in, and of course one of the Beastmasters will be exchanged for Tusk for that Savage Alliance buff early on. Some extra attack damage.
It's gonna be a bit of a struggle figuring out the best way to use these. Like, you want the second Warlock early Shadow Fiend roll, as always, but the elusive target's gonna be tricky to use. We might see him potentially just trying to dodge that.
Witch Doctor is acquired. Could probably sub in for maybe a Beastmaster.
And Forky's board is still just pretty good here. I mean, Beastmaster is one of these stronger, just like one-star units. If you're not going to upgrade it, you might as well make it a Beastmaster. But dying before it can take out the Bounty Hunter, taking a bit of extra damage there.
Fibonacci takes a very, huge 8 damage this early on, round 6. Zabiyaka as well, defeated by BBG.
Yep. And we see the typical loose streak. I really do think this is one of the things that kind of differentiates the bad player from the good. BBG, huge upgrades. Venomancer 2-star and Enchantress 2-star with the Tooth and Claw. Suddenly, this is the strongest board. He's got an Alchemist. He's pairing Warlocks with an Alchemist.
We mentioned sometimes it was too early sometimes to buy Alchemist, but finishing Venomancer, it might be just the right answer this early on.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Alchemist and Shadow Fiend are on like a fairly similar level. Sometimes Shadow Fiend is better, but Alchemist, he does a pretty incredible amount of damage with the Acid Spray, and he kind of frees up your Demon slot, which on some builds can actually be used in different ways. But Acid Spray is really, really low-key. It doesn't show up on the DPS chart. It's not like super flashy like Shadow Fiend, but it does a ton of damage in these slow fights, which this board excels at. Yeah,
a lot of sustained Treant level 2 because of the Enchantress level 2, a lot of heals coming in as well, so... And, of course, the Warlock Alliance itself, so...
And now the onus is on Fibonacci and Yosef to figure out how to kind of make the most out of these bad situations. Zabiyaka's down there with them. Yosef still no 2-stars.
Joseph doing Joseph things, but he ends up always finding a way to claw back into the game. At least to top 4 or so.
Yeah, I mean, at least, like, Yosef in the last game, he had, like, the no 2-stars. Here, he found one. Look at that. But in this game, it's a little bit better because he at least has some, You know what they say, misery loves company. He's at least got a couple of other players that also have weak boards.
As long as he's above 39 HP at round 13, he's doing better than his last few games. So that's kind of the goal he goes for.
Yep. But yeah, this is kind of the opposite of last game. Last game was like every board is super strong, and this is like a lot more kind of like slow pace.
I already know how this is going.
It's Fumechi against Yosef.
There's the overflow happening once again. Players buying most of the shop, hoping to just hit random pairs later on in the next round. If not, they just sell right back.
Because 2-stars are just the name of the game early. I mean, they double in health and they double in damage, just making them extremely efficient units.
Looking at BBG streaking, no surprise there. I think Fumichi also has a very strong board.
This has to be the strongest board. We hit a Lycan as well, giving the 4th Savage with the Tooth and Claw.
This is really
This is almost the nuts. I mean, the Tooth and Claw could be level 2, but this is insane.
What more would you ask for at this point in the game? Round 9.
Almost nothing.
4 Savage, 2 Warlock.
Arguably, a Shadow Fiend is better than an Alchemist, but that's arguable, because Alchemist at least gives you frontline, which is kind of nice for what you want here. The only thing that's better is like Tooth and Claw 2-star. I mean, you've got Smuggler and Gloves, very top-tier items as well. This is truly just the nut start.
The rest of the boards we see. A few more completions. A lot of win streaks.
And we see Zabiyaka having the double Shadow Fiend with the strange Bedfellows, picks up the Terrorblade.
Reminds me of Joseph, this board.
Yeah, I think
he had the same exact board like 2 games ago.
He at least has like pretty good potential here. Like he's got the double strange Bedfellows. He's got direction, right? His board is weak now, but he kind of knows what he's doing, and he has good mid-game turnaround potential. Whereas Yosef is gonna have to ass pull something to really get it back from this brink.
These are, alliances and items that don't help you immediately. They don't have the impact maybe some gloves have or some very impactful global alliances early on. But overall, for the late game, they're going to scale very well.
Yosef hit some upgrades recently. We have the Tiny and the Tusk. So that's honestly enough to hit some Stabilize.
He's on a decent amount of gold as well.
Yep, he didn't have to roll for those. And we see the top players are rolling to protect their streaks. Which is pretty interesting. They're all streaking like pretty hard. And they're all taking a couple aggressive rolls. Not more than a couple. But we see here, Fibonacci and Yosef having the highest economy here because they're not playing for streaks that they need to necessarily protect. Rat gets a Timber Saw. Could be enough to make a difference. Right now, he's top board in terms of health. BBG's board should still be stronger, though.
I mean, Rat and BBG both with Enchantress and that Treant Projector getting to level 2 because of the Druid passive or Alliance is just huge. Great sustain early on.
And round 10. So Rat and BBG have very similar comps. They're eyeing something like completing the cycle 2. Another Tooth and Claw would be really nuts. Summoning Stone, the dream, especially for BBG. There's a lot going on here that these players are looking for.
BBG gets Summoning Stone, that's, I mean, this is
very good embarrassment.
Very much scripted, I think.
Smuggler on BBG gives him great odds at a tier 2. I mean, that would be the ideal setup. Let's see these upgrades roll in. Got Aegis on Yosef. Completing the cycle on Me No Hacks. Very good with 2 druids up. Fall from Grace on Fumechi. Zabayaka, another completing the cycle. Also 2 stars, but he doesn't have druids. He's going to have to lean into them to find them.
And BBG has not chosen an item. Oh, got a Blink Dagger. Going to put it on Lycan.
So this is a good kind of balancer. Rat and BBG didn't get anything ridiculous. And we got some better items for people a little lower down. Fumechi's Fall from Grace is going to actually do quite a bit down here. Check out BBG's board.
Think about this reverse L formation.
It's pretty good. Basically, you have your Alchemist and your Treants kind of like tanking it up here, where you're just trying to protect your Enchantress and your Venomancer. Having your ranged heroes together on one side increases the probability that they'll attack the same hero, which is kind of always what you want. The goal of positioning is to basically have your opponent either split their attacks or attack your tankiest unit while your units are kind of focusing. And if you're going to have like a backline on a side, you do kind of want them to be lined up on that side.
Yeah, the fights are generally automatic, but it gives you some control over the targeting and how it starts overall. Even the overflowing is aesthetically pleasing. BBG, great player.
So we see Fumechi and Me No Haxor that are building some good stuff here. We're looking for the Terrorblade upgrade. It would be a really great thing to turn this around.
About the competition between Me No Haxor and I believe it was Zabayaka.
Zabayaka, yeah.
Zabayaka has not found much of anything yet.
Yeah, that's a really sad sight to behold. Being on 2 strange bedfellows and considering not going demons.
It's the Tidehunter level 12 though, or around 12.
Yeah. It's not necessarily what you want to see that early, unfortunately. But
one of those traps we talked about earlier.
Exactly.
4 gold being, wasted on a Tidehunter might not be the best. He does have a Slardar as well though, so has a skilled bonus at least.
So you see the Lycan on the Blink Dagger. You want summons like very early, so the mana on Lycan is really a good boost to your early game. They get melted by the Shadow Fiend though. Tidehunter hits a Ravage, but these heals are coming in. I think these heals might actually have this. Combined with the Acid Spray, he's lost his front line and he's going down here. See, some players are really hurting. Yosef picked up some upgrades a while ago, and Fibonacci and Zabayaka are now the ones really hurting. This is the worst feeling. 2 strange bedfellows and completing the cycle, but you have no board to speak of. None whatsoever. Not a single upgrade, not a single like playable Demon Hunter. You just have like a Terrorblade 1-star you can maybe put in. And Yosef is still hitting other upgrades. That's 2 Tusk 2s now. 7 Tusks.
Oh no.
He's on the Tusk 3
He's falling
path.
for the trap.
Yosef has Venomancer 2. The turnaround is here.
Not Tusk 3. Don't do it.
So Yosef, as well as I believe it was Fumechi, are the 2 players that really like running like Beast Warriors when they can.
Yeah. And we see it every game.
They both have like 3 Warriors online. Zabayaka following suit here.
The stats definitely prove themselves, I think, over the tournament. We've seen Fibonacci running Assassin's last game as well, 4HE as well. So a lot of insight can be gained from studying past behavior for these players.
Absolutely. I mean, I think Tusk 3 stars is pretty good. It's not necessarily a strong unit. It's kind of like Batrider 3 stars. It's not a super strong unit in the late game, but it completes what you need it to complete, and it's very 3-starable.
Maybe a bit worse than Batrider because Warrior just has so much more variety.
Yeah.
And maybe with a Savage buff, maybe it's gotten a bit more of a spike. But overall, I think Batrider, when you go 6 knights, you have to include it, so you don't really have a decision.
This is really not dying.
Sad fight.
This Witch Doctor, he's got it. He's got it.
Does he have it?
Yeah, he's got it.
Ooh, that taunt there was looking a little sketchy. The Berserker's Fall coming in.
Okay. So these 3 bottom players have stabilized quite a bit. BBG hitting the full streak, which I mean nobody's surprised. He's on the nuts. Like there's just no escaping this. Like this is always gonna be streaking, and it's always gonna bump down Rat. Zabayaka stabilizing with a Shadow Fiend 2-star. Haxor hits the Chaos Knight.
BBG at 63 gold.
This is what I like to see. This is a very balanced game, except for BBG's board. We won't mention that. But basically, we see the players that are weak hitting like kind of lucky stabilizers. BBG takes a very aggressive level 7 as well. He has the economy to be able to do that without burning through too much. He only lost 1 point of interest, leveling to 7 on 14. Yeah, when you're streaking that much and you don't have to roll, you can just take luxuries like that.
Is it Bedfellows enough here? We'll see. We'll find out. Tiny's going to get the ultimate in, going to get the toss in, and stuns the DPS unit in Shadow Fiend. So, but not quite enough.
Yeah, without the Demon Hunters, there's just not really enough for this board to do. It still has this turnaround potential, but at this point, I mean, you're even sadder than Yosef at this point. Zabiaka, I mean, he has the Shadow Fiend upgrade, but he still is on 1-star Demon Hunters. He doesn't really know exactly like how to handle this. Like I said, if you're on to double Bedfellows and you're considering not going Demons, that's an extremely sad game. But he's committed at this point.
He has to maybe clear up the bench a tiny bit. Get rid of Tidehunter, for example.
Yeah.
Pudge goes back in. That might mean that Tidehunter and Slara go back in for the Knights, but probably not.
Yep.
Yeah, and the competition here with Anti-Mage 1 and Terrorblade 2, so kind of the opposite
exactly.
of the other board. And again, like Assassin's last game, they're just getting in each other's ways.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
And they're kind of going for the same thing, right? I mean, they have like demons with the Druid opener, whereas, of course, Zabiaka, he has completing the cycle. He doesn't actually have Druids online, which is also really sad because completing the cycle is one of the better early game items when it's 2-starred.
Get ready, swim.
I'm ready.
Zabiaka.
Rat also taking an aggressive level to 7. Typically, this is what you do. And Forhi as well. Typically, level 7 on the creep round of 15 is what you do when you have a very high economy start.
Oh.
Got him.
Fumetti at...
Okay, pick up a Blink Dagger for the Terrorblade level 2. That's always friendly to see.
See Scrappy Inventors from Rat. Nothing too crazy, though, for any of these players.
None of these globals are really coming together. Zabby's got another good global that he can't really use that well. I mean, he's got the Pudge, so it kind of allows him to maybe complete this in a bit of a better way. What I really like to see is something like a Kunkka. We saw that from Fibonacci before with Fall from Grace and Demon Hunters, having the Kunkka completing the Fall from Grace while being a very defensive big stun, allowing your Hunters to just do their damage.
And he has completed the cycle and he has the Enchantress level 2 on the board, so maybe when he finds a Druid, he decides to get some sustain, some more frontline to accompany Pudge and help his demons survive for a bit longer to sustain. Alt into the Acid Spray. Like you said, very impactful early game.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. He's even got the Vanguard and the Alchemist, so it's really not dying. BBG's he's hit the full nuts. I mean, nothing is stopping this train. But Fibonacci stabilizing. He's hitting a streak here from the brink. Let's check out this board. Arc Warden 1-star with the Maelstrom. We haven't seen Arc Warden too much today.
Not at all even, I think. Definitely not any endgame comps. He's very different in how he performs now, but I think he's still quite strong.
Yeah, he's very item dependent.
Yeah, also. Blink Dagger. Not too bad. Get that extra mana going.
Ooh, and huge upgrades all around. Zabiaka finally finding that Terrorblade level 2.
Maybe coming online. It's a bit late, but it has a Doom.
Yep.
He's not completing Warriors, though, is he? Only has the Pudge and the Doom.
Yeah, that's correct. Warriors are only being completed right now by Yosef, which is kind of interesting. But let's check out Fibonacci's board. So it's pretty interesting. He's got like some kind of like magey sort of setup, a lot of 2-stars, and the double Arc Warden with the Maelstrom is actually just like a good kind of like sort of interim unit that's not really going to be super amazing, but we'll carry him through this.
Very easy cleanup here. 4HE still at 60 HP, so not too bad of a board in theory, but easy cleanup here.
Absolutely.
That Arc Warden.
And if we find the third Arc Warden, I mean, we could easily combine that. Like, that's going to be a good mid-game carry.
Fibonacci's still level 6. Around 17. Should be leveling up.
Yep. It's pretty irregular to not be taking the level here, especially with, like, a 2-star benched. But yeah, it looks like he wants to play a bit more for economy since he rolled a bit early. Oh, there it is. The round 18 3-star. Yosef's Tusk comes to fruition. Fibonacci takes the level up. And this is it. This is the very early 3-star.
Has the Lycan as well.
And he's on this tiny path. Yosef has big
he's a Warriors
potential.
player. We talked about it in the stats. He had 11 end games with Warriors out of 20-something games of the qualifiers, same as Fumetti. So both players reliant on at least 3 Warriors in the end game. And we can see why, because he sticks to them. He plays, gets to Tusk level 3, commits to maybe Tiny level 3 as well.
Yeah, I'd like to see a bit of a reposition here from Yosef, having like the Tusk be a bit more of a main tank since it's so tanky. Hits Fibonacci's like streaker mage board, going through the warrior armor. It's going to be a little uncomfortable for sure. But Yosef should be looking at like probably second or third strongest board in this lobby right now. Pretty good board.
But again, he's taking that last place position. A very familiar position for him.
Yeah.
But normally tends to get the comeback going now. Maybe he's missing a bit of the DPS, though. He has a great front line. But I think he just doesn't have the damage to follow up, to be honest.
Yeah, that's probably true as well.
Once they get to level 2, then we're talking.
Oh,
Lycan level 2 is also a big inclusion, I think.
Yep, being able to just put in like the 4th Savage unit. You have to decide what to take out, which isn't necessarily easy here, but I think that's fine. Looking on the like tiny upgrade.
Venomancer as well.
Upgrade.
That's a big one. We saw Venomancer 3 perform very well today, almost at the level of those Strange Bedfellows comps that have been winning games a lot.
Let's take a look at Mino Haxer's Strange Bedfellows top health team right here. Still shouldn't be as strong on board value as BBG, but I think he's been hitting like slightly weaker boards.
Yeah, Lone Druid also very early on. The big strong bear to help you out. Gonna keep the Viper busy, and yeah, it's enough to take it down here.
I gotta say, Fibonacci's board hit his, and Fibonacci's board is good. Fibonacci, I mean, this is a really, really good comeback potential board.
It's an early mage kind of commitment where it looks like it just doesn't have enough of a front line, but it's doing really well with double Razor.
Yep, and he's got the 2 demons, which is a very, very interesting choice, but basically just because they deal so much magic damage, it's kind of like, sort of like an extra Morphling, right? Like you cancel the demon passive, but it can be worth it in this case just because you deal so much magic damage to pair with a mage.
And the bench as well, 2 Arc Wardens, 2 Disruptors. Once he hits those units, those are big power spikes.
Yep. And I gotta say, I love this. This is a very creative board. Like, this is the kind of thing Fibonacci, I think, is known for.
Yeah,
He's got the 7 Razors here. He's looking for the same upgrades that Yosef is on the 3-star. We're gonna see how these boards do against this Produce Isle.
Ron 20, a bit of a stall here, looking at the economy for each player. Pretty even for the most part. Rats, yeah, very 160. Even. But overall, Joseph at 131. Not a surprise either. Always a bit of a slow start for him.
Yep.
Well, it looks like it's going to be the first Yo.
Yep.
Swim, get ready.
I'm on it.
Thank you. Oh, let's go. Swim. Oh, you missed one. Oh.
Yo.
Oh, my. That's a lot of Yos. 3 players knocked out by Tomato Potato.
Very fresh.
BBG picking up a very casual Battle Fury. It's not necessarily as...
It got better, but...
It did get better.
Not crazy.
It's not crazy. You'd probably more often rather have a Sacred Relic, sadly enough. BBG getting a 2nd Venomancer level 2. As par for the course, multiple players working on Venomancer level 3. Pretty much standard right now.
BBG has the Tooth and Claw. We see a whole lot of Savage. Missing the Lone Druid for now.
Fibonacci getting that Arc Warden up, and he's still on his streak. He's going to have to find a way to fit this in, maybe taking out one of the demons.
Queen of Pain might have found her. Yeah.
Very interesting. And we see a lot of players choosing to stay at 7 for 21. Typically, like a lot of players in the past have kind of like leveled to 8 on 21, but a lot of players are kind of prioritizing their economy right now.
Looks like the heals, the Warlock heals here really helped out Joseph, and he stays alive here. Tusk level 3, of course, helping out, tanking a whole lot of damage.
And Fibonacci's streak is going to get knocked down. He's got to find room for this Arc Warden level 2, I think. But once he does, this board might regain its status as strongest board.
Joseph, in theory, having spent all his gold, should be looking at a much stronger board and should be able to, come back here. But Shadow Fiend still level 1 is going to really hurt his DPS, and I think that was one of his problems earlier on. I think it's still a problem, to be honest.
Such a contested unit. Sometimes it's so hard to upgrade Shadow Fiend just because everyone's grabbing it.
And you have so much value on the bench, but if you can't convert it to board strength with these level 3 units that aren't going to,
Yep.
Did I speak too soon?
One off, but he can't find it. BBG's crazy early game streak came to a screeching halt.
Is there an Aegis for Joseph? I believe there is an Aegis. So he has
Joseph is survivable here.
The Blink Dagger? No one? Okay.
We're going to have to see how this
Playing
does against
first place, though. So that's not the best pair for Joseph. We'll see if it's good enough. Looking healthy.
I think it's pretty good. I mean, he's got a big turnaround here. I think he hit a few unlucky boards a few turns in a row, but his board has been strong for some time. Fibonacci finding room for the Arc Warden, still dying. 15 damage from 4 heat. Wow.
It might just be the frontline problem. I mean, he doesn't have those big tanks you kind of need with mages.
Fibonacci suddenly finding himself lowest health against only the Aegis under him. And we see that Kunkka I was talking about with Zabayaka completing the Fall from Grace Heartless. That's what I like to see. We do see, of course, the 2 players just kind of like both being on Demon Hunters. Venomancer 3 on BBG. This is the turnaround. Razor 3 on Fibonacci.
And we just need the...
Enchantress 3. BBG hit Enchantress 3 and Shadow Fiend 2.
And the Venomancer.
This board just swung crazy.
Tusk
and he's on the
level
Tusk
3.
out as well. But a lot of Tusks are held by Yosef.
Yeah.
This is a big fight. So BBG just hit like a gargantuan power spike. He spiked super early, and then he was on a big lose streak. Just kind of fallen off, and now he's hit a massive spike. He can't be losing boards at this point. There's just no way. Zabiaka takes 20 damage from Fibonacci. Arc Warden's at it again, Panda.
Some nightmares, I think, for the viewers. Some PTSD coming in.
Joseph down to 3 health.
His Aegis is still alive.
His Aegis is up, so Rat and Zabiaka are the ones in range of dying. Zabiaka, the difficult decision. 40 gold, 12 health. He could die to 1 punch, but he's 1 away from the creep round. He could greed this.
Unlike the first group we saw, this group is very close. So these 2 points, if Joseph can outlast Rat and Zabiaka, for example, or Fibonacci even, at 17 HP, might be massive.
So Rat's got to be the weakest board here. We have 7 anti-mages on the side of Zabiaka. He's looking for the upgrade. Fibonacci hits the Dragon Knight, which, as we know, 2-star Dragon Knight is a really huge upgrade. This is the firing point. This is where Dragon Knight gets all of its power from. It needs to be 2 stars. See, this Dragon Knight's 1-star is not even on the board. Double Lich on the side of Rat at level 8. This is a really, really powerful board, but if he gets knocked out, 6 health is just instantly done.
Yeah, no Aegis as well. And he faces a fairly strong board here, I think, Fumechi.
This could be it. Crystal Maiden's got a Mask of Mana. She's hitting hard. She's chunking. The damage is there. 126. The Chain Frost is coming out. The Caught Blast is there, but that's not going to be enough. Rat's going down. Rat's going to get knocked out. He's against Zabiaka, who stabilizes. Rat ends up being 8th place here, and Fumechi takes some damage as well.
4HE was defeated as well. 11 damage, so it's getting very close to the bottom
this
end.
is very close. And
Joseph can maybe get that comeback again with the Aegis.
He just got burned. So he is down the Aegis. He's blowing his economy. He might be the next to go. He's looking for 2 powerful outs.
He can stall, and he has a few outs that he can really benefit from, unlike maybe some other players. So.
Yep. Yosef and BBG are really blocking each other. They're both building Venomancer 3 and Tusk 3. BBG is blocking Yosef's Venomancer, and Yosef is blocking BBG's Tusk really hard here.
Fibonacci, if he found any other anti-mage, he was very close still.
Yeah.
Zabiaka was it, yeah.
Zabiaka.
Yeah. Still
1 anti-mage off. Or sorry, 2.
Close. Getting close.
2 anti-mages off.
So a few players on quite a few outs. Shadowfiend as well, but not really close on Shadowfiend, I think. Kunkka misses entirely, so maybe has to revisit his coordination.
Kunkka I ever play with.
And get ready, Swim.
It's Whirlybirds. Panda, it's Whirlybirds.
Sure?
Wait. Yeah, I'm sure. It's
I was still pretty healthy.
It's Whirlybirds. This one's actually really healthy. Yeah. He might actually take this down. Whirlybird's got to have this.
Are you sure, Swim?
Yeah. Okay. Whirlybird's got it. You're right. Look at that lifelink.
Pathetic.
Okay, this is it. This is the APM roll down. Yosef doesn't have much gold, but he's on 2 really big outs. We're yoing the Zabiaka defeated by neutral wave. Zabiaka is looking for 2 anti-mages to complete 4 Shadow Fiends. This is going to be really, really hard to get that.
For 2
Double recruiter, Yosef and BBG.
Have no gold.
Yosef has the Venomancer 3. BBG has decent enough gold. He's got the roll down on the recruiter 1. Looking for the Tusk out. Really, really big single Tusk, but being blocked at the same time by Yosef, hoarding gold. 9 Tusks on his board. Terrorblade 2 from Mino Haxer. And
Tusk 3, he finds it.
So BBG has
upgrades. And the Sand King comes in.
3 2-stars.
He finds the
Yosef
full
hit Tiny.
Savage comp.
There's the value of Recruiter. Yosef had 6 gold. He found Recruiter, and this Recruiter got in.
Anti-mage for Zabiaka as well. He needed 2.
That's huge.
A huge flow of upgrades for every single player that needed them.
Fumechi might be the weakest board all of a sudden. Yeah. Everybody else hit powerful upgrades. This is going to be crazy to follow. Zabiaka on the Demon Hunters. 4 players could lose at any moment with a single fight, but the Demon Hunters have to repel here. I don't know, it's too much. The bear is too much. Zabiaka is getting chunked here, but it's not enough to kill him. We look at Fumechi's board. This is going to take him down. It has to. That's got to be it. Is Yosef losing, though? Yosef might be hitting repel. The Tusk 3 is good. Fumechi hits 7th place, getting knocked out.
2 players. The Tinker comes in. Oh, the wards are fresh.
Yosef has to lose this, I think.
Yeah, he has to.
He has to go down here.
Too much healing here from the
Yosef outlasted. He hits 6th place yet again. And Zabiaka is just stabilized at 3 health.
Yep. 6th place for Joseph. Unfortunate once again for him. And Mino Haxer is still very healthy. He was at 77 for so long. Finally takes a big chunk here. Takes 20 HP.
And we can see, like, there's kind of a flow to this game where the bottom player is kind of like, it's sort of like a wave, you know? When you're in the stadium at a sports game, there's the crowd does their wave. It's like the bottom players...
Exactly what I was thinking of. You took the words out of my mouth, Swim.
The bottom players kind of blow their load early, and then it's like the middling players. And we see, like, Mino Haxor just kind of, like, chilling. He's waiting for his turn.
Maybe some Haxors.
Yeah.
Maybe a little.
Check out BBG's board. He has pretty much the nuts here. It's still kind of like a mid-game board, and we're approaching late game, but it's going to be very powerful here. The Venomancer 3-star is just going off. Very, very powerful. Even with a level 1 Tooth and Claw, it does so much damage, it's just going to be good. But against Fibonacci's board, he does get repelled. Zabayaka gets knocked out of the game. 5th place.
19 damage.
And that's gigantic, especially for Mino Haxor. These demons and demon hunters are back in the pool. This anti-mage 3 from Mino Haxor suddenly looks like it could be a thing this game if he stays alive long enough. And he's got the health to make it happen.
Crazy bench as well. A lot of 2-stars on the bench.
Yep. Going for the chunky Crystal Maiden 3.
Some positioning changes here as well. Some players got eliminated. Look at the rest of the field. See what your best average positioning will be against the field.
Both
Octarine on level 1 Alchemist, not too crazy. Yep. Gonna try and find that upgrade, I think.
Yeah, unfortunately, 2 acid sprays of the same level do not stack their armor reduction. But it's still a powerful lifelink, and it still does some amount of damage. Okay.
Against BBG, one of the stronger players.
Yeah, this is a strong board. I don't know if he's got this. Could he take 17 from this, though? 17's going to be rough.
One of the odder things about BBG that...
This is it. This is 17. This is him getting knocked out. It has to be. The Spirit Bear does so much on top of that. That 24 damage. Spirit Bear at level 3 just deals 6 all by itself, and that's 4 he taking 4th place.
And the curious thing about BBG is he's a player that rolls on 7 for the level 3s, and it works. I mean, he has so many level 3s. He's still level 7, which is very odd for round 29.
Round 29.
Very odd.
Yep.
Very, very strange.
But
he has to be close.
If you got the level 3s, that's what you want. And he's still on the roll path. He's still looking for like a Lycan upgrade. Fibonacci hitting the biggest streak right now. He's on his like slightly interesting like 3 mage kind of splashy path. And I mean, he's the weakest health, but he's got to have the strongest board right now.
Has DPS from Dragonite, has the Arc Warden as well, which is pretty strong. And Crystal Maiden is close to level 3.
Yep. And you can't underestimate Crystal Maiden level 3. Arcane Aura is one of the most powerful abilities in the game.
That's a huge burst by Shadow Fiend.
Yeah, that is nuts. There's just nothing.
And Crystal Maiden really helps with getting that mana up as quickly as possible.
You know, his Hexer's board cannot stand against that. Did BBG repel against that, though? That's the biggest question.
Very close.
It's very, very close.
Snake boys.
Snakes against the Arc Warden. It looks like they have it. These are really, really powerful. 93
go.
DPS each. Can we talk about that? 93 DPS each, plus the Tooth and Claw. So every time
plus the 6 Savage.
Yeah.
That's huge.
So every time Veno casts, that's like adding 400 DPS almost to the board.
That's strong.
Almost. That's really crazy.
Big dinos, big rewards if you make it this far.
Yep. So we're all looking for upgrades. The Queen of Pain 3 for Mino Haxor.
And still a very full bench. A lot of options here. You still have
Terrorblade is 1 off.
Yeah.
Chaos Knight is 1 off. These are gigantic upgrades. And he's kind of had the luxury to play for this. Exactly.
And he has still a lot of gold. He could go up to 40, but again, I think his bench is too valuable. He can't really sell anything. He wants all of this, and it's not worth 1 gold, really.
The one weakness, though, is Fibonacci. I think Mino Haxor is going to be good against BBG's board, but Fibonacci's mages really counter this Demon Hunter playstyle. If they burst you down before you can do anything about it, you are just going to be out. BBG looks like he's taking it here over these creeps. It looks like Mino Haxor is going to be the one to go out. Actually, this could be pretty close.
DPS on the words.
Got it. We're good. Well, that's going to be it. Yep. The words go ahead and take that there. There's Venomancer casually top fragging at 7,500.
It's going to be a very... I mean, Fumechi was first on the leaderboard. He got 7th this game, so it's going to, I think...
Really close.
Leaderboard is going to be even closer.
BBG hits Refresher on Lone Druid, level 3. Gigantic double bears. That's a huge turnaround. Fibonacci hits Dagon, amplified by the Mage passive. It's going to be a bit of a puncher. I think we have a rock, paper, scissors situation going on here.
He has to start rolling. He's rolling now.
Everyone has to roll.
He has so many outs.
Yep. Chaos Knight 3 from Mino Haxor. He needs the Terrorblade. The Terrorblade is how this build wins games.
Morphling 2 for Fibonacci. I think it's the only one on the bench.
Second Morphling, yeah. You're going to need 3 more Morphlings, and you just don't have the economy for that. It's a little unrealistic. But yeah, I think
Shadow Shaman just chilling.
Fibonacci is probably favored against Mino Haxor. I think Mino Haxor beats BBG, and I think BBG beats Fibonacci, or something like that. It's very, very interesting, because the burst can do so well against these demons until Terrorblade gets to level 3. Because the one weakness of Demons is they're very squishy. It is very close with the Lone Druid 3-star coming in here. And Hex is going to take it. BBG getting kicked out by Fibonacci. That's a big one. Even with the refresher level 3 Lone Druid, even in probably a more favored matchup, even loses to Fibonacci's board.
Yeah, he did not level up yet. Still level 7 for BBG.
And there's a very, very cheeky Dagon Arc Warden. You love to see that because sometimes you just have the Arc Warden spawn and clone dies, Dagon. You know, spawn and clone dies, Dagon. It's a very, very powerful item to stick on your Arc Warden. You gotta love that. I think Dagon Arc Warden is one of my favorite combos with him. I was talking with Yoel earlier actually, and he was saying the same thing.
Crystal Maiden still 2 away, so hasn't quite found that Morphling as well. It's close. May have to start committing to one or the other to try and get that extra gold to reroll a bit more. We're getting to the point where you could get one shot at this point. They're very strong boards, very swingy boards as well.
It's BBG against Mino Haxer. He's at 14 health. He could potentially lose 14 in a single fight. I think his board might be better than Mino Haxer's, though. The Demons are not doing super well until the Terrorblade's 3 stars.
Yeah, it's not enough.
It needs to be 3 stars. The Terrorblade just can't really do
Too many
enough.
bears.
Yeah, the bears just chunk everything.
The
Mino Haxer gets knocked out.
On Lone Druid.
Suddenly, Mino Haxer has the weakest board. He needs this Terrorblade.
Yeah,
it's so
really
dependent on the Terrorblade 3. And he doesn't have economy. That's the biggest worry. He's blown all through his money. I think he might have needed to save and greed a little bit more. Because like when you have this much health, you kind of want to turn it into gold just to ensure you can 3-star. But if there's no 3-star Terrorblade, he might be done. He's going to have to do some aggressive rolling.
He's going to sell. The Enchantress finds Disruptor, but can he really put it in?
It's kind of hard to make room for this Disruptor here, honestly. There's not a ton to do with it. He's thinking about it here.
Lone Druid goes out.
Yep. It isn't very important for him to get this Warlock pair online, though.
For sure.
So, if you're him, you could even think about selling the Lone Druid. Fibonacci got knocked down. He's at the 7 health mark here. 1 loss and he's out. Fibonacci versus BBG. They're both one-shottable. Haxer has the most health here. Huge static storm.
Burst. The bears are just so many bears, but I think it will.
Yep.
Dragon Knight, I think, is too much with Arc Warden
Fibonacci repels. Yep, it's not enough. BBG on his board is also repelling. Both of them look good. Mino Haxer lost on his board. All players within 1-shot range, and we're 1 round away from the creep round. Mino Haxer needs this Terrorblade. He needs to roll down. I think he has to sell this Lone Druid.
He's on that single.
That's his only chance.
He can't level to 9 either. I mean, he's way too far away.
He's got to go for it. You have to take these rolls. He needs it. There's the sell. Looking for Lone Druid. 2 more rolls. 1 more roll. He has to hit it.
He hits it
on the last roll. And he's on round 34. He might have gone from the weakest board to the strongest board just off of that.
And the Blink Dagger as well is going to be massive. Going to get right into your face, into the back line with a ton of damage. You know, every swipe is basically a kill at that level 3.
Board. 11 health. You're taking 4 damage naturally here. The Blink Dagger Terrorblade. Yep, vicious intent on Mino Haxer. So basically any amount of damage will be lethal here on the aggressive board. Terrorblade's one-shotting left and right. This board is cleaned up. Terrorblade 3-star has it. He's aggressor on Fibonacci's board. This board is done. Fibonacci might be knocked out here. The Terrorblade has it. This is it. Fibonacci is knocked out to this. That's too much. BBG is defending against Fibonacci and they kill each other. Mino Haxer takes it with demons. Yeah. And that's it.
That last upgrade on the last
that
roll.
Completely did it.
Does it. So, I mean, sometimes you have to get lucky. And he got it at the end. He worked for it. He sold a Lone Druid. He found the upgrade. He believed in it. And he had 1 strange bedfellows.
Yeah.
He had a player with 2. Didn't end up working. But he made it work, especially when that other player died.
Releasing the Terrorblade into the pool. That did it. Like, you can't find this Terrorblade upgrade without that.
And again, we're going to look at the standings, but I think it's going to be a very, very, very close game because number 1 got 7, so kind of the offset there. And a very exciting last group.
What a way to close out the night, Panda.
Been fantastic. Analyst panel, what do you guys think about this last game of the day?